Hey, John Morgan here with Bob's Market and Greenhouses, and welcome to this week's episode of Bob's Market Live, our weekly show right here on the internet. So to get things started off today, I have a couple of announcements. And first off is our Yard of the Month contest. Now, photos for May were due this past weekend, and here in just a second we're going to announce a winner. But photos for June, for this month, are due by 5 p.m. Monday, July 1st. And you can email those photos to ask@bobsmarket.com. All that you need to do to enter is email us a photo, and be sure to include your name or the name of the person that you're submitting for, and the mailing address. So if you win or they win, we know where to send the prize to. And also, if you do win, we'll email you some questions so we can do a nice little write-up on our blog. So this week's winner, or this month's winner, I should say, for the month of May, is Isaiah Pauley from right here in Mason. And they have just a gorgeous yard. So next week, hopefully, if I get the questions back by then, I'm going to do a nice little write-up on our blog and feature their yard in our newsletter. So, of course, go ahead and send us your pictures so you'll be in the running for June. And we're going to run this June, July, and also into August. So, go out, grow a beautiful yard, and then share it with us. This week in our newsletter, we were talking about aphids. So I just kind of want to recap some of the things that we talked about in the article. So aphids, they're little tiny critters, and they are a sap sucker. Their little mouths look like little straws, and they poke a hole right into the side of the plant and suck the sap out. So, that can really harm a plant, and more importantly, it can spread disease between plants. So you definitely want to get rid of aphids if you see them in your garden. So in the newsletter, we talked about some different ways that you can control aphids naturally without using harmful chemicals. And perhaps the easiest way is just by watering. A watering can might not be quite enough to do the job, but you can use a sprayer to kind of blast them, and it will blow them right off the plant. The next way, just to wipe them out. You can take your thumb, run it down the stem, crush the little guys. Just kill them that way. For larger infestations, you might want to go to something like insecticidal soap. Wow, that's a mouthful. Hopefully not a mouthful of soap. That happened to me a couple times when I was little. But insecticidal soap, it'll work great. Also, along the lines of organic controls, we carry a product called Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew. And it's actually a toxin derived from bacteria, and it's perfectly safe to use, and it works wonders. The next way is with homemade sprays. There's a couple different types that I talked about, briefly mentioned in the newsletter, and might go into more in depth on those a little bit later on. But you can make a tea out of tomato leaves, and that will work. Also, garlic oil sprays work wonders. And probably one of the methods that I like the best is to use beneficial insects. Things like ladybugs, and also praying mantises. You can actually go online and buy little praying mantis egg cases that you just hang out in your garden. The little guys hatch out and then just spread out and go to war killing, aphids and and other nasty little garden bugs. And well, those are some tips. And if you want to find out another really cool fact about aphids, check out our blog. It's at bobsmarketblog.com. And now I want to take a look at what's happening here at Bob's. We're kind of moving into summertime, so things are kind of changing out in the greenhouse. And I always like seeing this transformation every year. We go from growing seedlings to growing finished products. So most of what you'll see in this video is finished product, and it may be headed to a store near you. So that's what's happening out in the greenhouse. And hopefully I'm going to get out there and film a little bit more in the upcoming weeks. Right now, let's take a look at the weather. And if you've been outside today, it's actually pretty nice out. Nice and cool today. And the main reason is because we have Tropical Storm Andrea going up the coast. And you may think, wow, tropical storm all the way off on the coast, how is it affecting us? Well, if we take a look at the satellite image, you can see that the cloud cover from the storm extends right over our area. So that's what's giving us cloud cover and these nice cool temperatures right now. Moving on into the weekend, we should clear up tomorrow and have a high right around 80. It's going to be just beautiful weather to be outside working in the garden. And then Sunday, we're going to start getting a little bit warmer. And you know, with all this rain that we had, the humidity is going to be up there too. So 87 on Sunday. And with all that humidity, there's definitely going to be storms in the forecast. So Monday, we're going to have a little bit of stormy weather moving through. And that's going to kind of cool us down, but not a whole lot. So Tuesday into the end of next week, we're going to stay kind of hot and humid. And, you know, during that time, there's always a chance for pop-up shower or thunderstorm. And if we look at the temperature forecast for June, you can see that we're kind of staying kind of steady in the 80s. Further on toward the end of the month, we're going to have a nice little heat wave move through. And now let's take a look at the allergy forecast. And I am feeling awesome today, and that is because our allergy scale is right around a 2.4, so we're down on the low end. And it's mainly due to this rain clearing out the pollen and, you know, just cleaning out the air. But our main pollen concern right now is grass pollen. And really, I didn't even bother with a map of tree pollen because it's pretty much done for the season. So our only concern right now is grass pollen. And finally, we have the Gardener's Almanac. And right now, we are heading into a little barren period over the weekend. So not a great time for planting. And with the rain that we've had, the ground is really too wet to be doing planting. And if you have a garden, I would recommend kind of staying out of the garden because you don't want to get in there and pack down the soil. But moving on into the first part of next week, the 10th and the 11th, going to be perfect for planting above ground crops. And then later on, toward the end of next week, we'll be moving into another little barren period. And well, that is our show for this week. And catch me back here next week at 4 p.m. And then the week after that, I'm going to be away on vacation, so we won't have a show that week. But yeah, catch me back here next week at 4 p.m. See ya.